I'm sorry. I wanted to go without the notes because again, I take notes because I want to do a good job, but at the same time, I don't want to refer to my notes because they're kind of a clutch, and I think in life you shouldn't be using clutch. Now this doesn't make any sense. I am so sorry. This is part two of our season two, act two. So two of Arcane. We made a first part, which was episode number four. Episode number five, I was looking for what if I forget something. And once again, I think the notes are nice to have, even if they're not necessary. So I'm gonna be checking them out, and we'll see. Dex loses it. See, we're reading notes for um, the teacher, which he questioned Mel's, right? He questioned what is the goal here because vendor is here. What is weird with the teacher, which is again the teacher of Victor, is that he has his story. He has his daughter. We see this daughter in episode number six, and we learn that she's later a hero. But it's very, very sad because you're like, okay, I understand why he's doing all he did. He did it, but there's not an advancement. There's not a way to move forward for what he does. For example, he's trying to keep his daughter alive. We don't know if she's sick. We don't know what's wrong with her. But there's not a clear hint. He said that he believed that Warwick is the answer. However, he's been studying Warwick for years and years and years and years. So he would have found the answer by now. We have we have Mel that was being tricked, and the problem with Mel being tricked is that Mel is possibly the only one that knows her mother. Her mother is always dangerous. She's always been dangerous. She's straight up venom, and Mel is the only one that can kind of counter her because not because Mel is strong, but because Mel know how she works. So Mel being tricked, she's being in prison. Then we realize that there's a weird situation with Mel. There's a person that is a brother, but not really a brother. Then we see the blood rose, which we know is a sickness that was used against Mel's mom, but we don't know to what extent. We don't know what is it supposed to be, and we don't know what is the substance. We don't know what it represents. It's very confusing. At the same time, we know that Mel might be involved in one way or shape or form. We have a very sweet. So they're looking for Warwick. Jake has convinced V that to go for Warwick, and there's this really sweet moment of you see. I don't want. It's complicated. I can't say that. I would say I don't want a team where Jinx is reliant on V. If you ask me season one, I would have loved that. If you ask me season two, episode one, two, three, I would have loved that. But I like seeing badass Jinx. Honestly, Jinx in the last 2 episodes, she's my favorite character. She's a badass, she's independent, she's smart, she's good, she's only positive. She's really coming out of her shell, she's really blossoming into a beautiful flower. And I was gonna say I don't like I wouldn't have loved for them to be in a team if I knew that V was gonna be not necessarily a leader, but the crutch. Again, the crutch. Let's use this word again, of Jinx. But in this case, Jinx is she's in charge. Not necessarily in charge, but she know that V is going through shit. Now, where does this change? Is it's very different. See, V is going through a hard pass. V is going through a breakup, right? She needs people that love her, which again is Jinx and Vander. In the other case, Jinx was dealing with trauma. Jinx was dealing with delirium. Jinx was living in a really bad place. She was in a really bad spot, and it's kind of sucks because, of course, I'm not saying that the pain that V is suffering right now is not as much as Jinx is, but I feel like V is capable of being herself. V is capable of still being of use. Jinx, I would not trust her. I'm like, yo, you're unstable. Get away. You know, don't fuck it up. You're gonna fuck it up. Even if not wanted, you're gonna fuck it up. There's a really sweet moment where we find a letter from Vendors, and we learn that Vendors regretted what happened with Silco, which again, so what necessarily happened is we later learned that Vander was the kid, was the father of V. Now, don't get me wrong, maybe it's common knowledge, but I've always think that Vander was not a father. Vander was a father figure, but not a father. I always think for some reason that he adopted V and he adopted Jinx, but we really see it. And what is the craziest thing is we learn why Vander. We kind of learn that Vander kind of was not necessarily a bad guy, but he kind of lost control because he loves the girl, he loves the wife, the mom of V. We don't know how he lost her. I don't think it matters how he lost her, but he lost control. And we see Silco. After that, it's followed by a very powerful scene. It's followed by a very powerful scene because it sucks because I think it's Jinx. I don't remember if it's Jinx or V, but it said if Silco found this, everything would have been different. Silco would have never went against everybody else. They would have been um uh, not teaming up, but co governing. Okay, this yeah, co-leader of the lower city. Um, Paz Vander and Silco, sweet moment before Vander. Nice. We see a moment in the past where we see the mother, and it's kind of cool because she really looks like Jinx, but we know she's the mother of V. We even see her. We even hear Vander say, "I always loved the name of Violet." Right, and what is really cool is, yeah, she was in a relationship with Vander, but she was really cool with Silco, and you kind of figure out that Silco and Vander were close. You kind of figure out that she was kind of the glue keeping them together, and the fact that something happened to her sucks. But you can tell that even though Silco was kind of the bad guy, you can tell that he really cared about, well, in the flashback, really cared about Vander and really cared about this mysterious woman. Maybe she's name I don't remember. My apologies. Um. Okay. V. Oh, I forgot a huge moment. Oh no, I forgot a huge moment in episode number 4. It's okay, we'll do it in episode number 5. We'll do it. For Vander and Victor touch, we realize that Jace, the last important moment is Jace and Victor, and it's kind of funny because if you saw my review of season 1, I always specified and always mentioned how, weirdly speaking, there's always been this theme of duality and arcane. There's always been this theme of duality. So, for example, Vander and Silco shared a duality. Vander was the good guy. Silco was the bad guy. Jinx and Powder in season 1. V was a good guy. Jinx was a bad guy. There's a duality. Those two characters. Vander, a leader, right? Silco, a leader, good, bad. Jinx, main character. V, main character. Bad guy, good guy, right? And then there was Jace. And it's kind of funny because you always, maybe it's just me, maybe it's preconceived notion, but I always thought that the character that was kind of become evil was to be Victor, but it's actually Jace. And they both touched the arcane, and it changed them. It gave Victor some almost superpower, some power to heal, some power to understand. And you understand that he doesn't really heal. He understands people, and he's able to. For example, we really see it with episode number 6 with Warwick. So what he does is he go in your mind, and with Warwick he see Vander. Sorry, I don't know why I said Vance. He see Vander kind of being in a trap. So all he has to do is go inside, right? And then he open up and free Vance and Vander. And if he's able to free up Vander, I don't know if Vander would become human once again, but he would be in control of Warwick. Because we see Vander being in control, but we mostly see the Beast being in control. There's very little time where he's able to control himself. But then, when he's able to control himself, he's really able to convince himself. And it's nice because I think personally that he's afraid of what he can do. He's afraid of hurting people. And that's why he kind of chose a life of solitude, right? Even when he's free, because he was imprisoned before. He went to hiding because he's afraid of hurting people. He knows what he is. It's the classic sense of the Beauty and the Beast, Dr. Jekyll and Hyde. Classic sense. Before we finish, right, we have this very, very nice scene where it's a very touching moment in finishing up the two episode number 4 and 5 with very deep moments. Vander goes in, you see Powder, he recognizes Powder, he's about to attack V, but he stops. There's a really sweet moment when Vander takes both of his daughter and hugs them. You see, I was talking about how the girlfriend or the wife of Vander was keeping Silco and Vander together. The way to keep V and Jinx together is to be together. It says to Vander, sorry. I did a lot of video today. I'm tired. And lastly, one more that I forgot about the fourth episode. It's a really sweet moment. Is after there's the riot of the Jinxter, which is a group following Jinx without Jinx wanting them to follow, without Jinx thinking that she can be a leader. There's a really, really, really sweet moment where they end up in jail. It's not a sweet moment. What a sweet moment is she realized that the kid who she was protecting ended up in jail. So she goes to save them, right? And the way she saved them is actually super cool. She gave the finger to the guard. With the finger, there's a classic Jinx sign on it. It's actually really, really fucking nice. But the nicest thing, nicest thing, what breaks my heart, there's two really cool there's two really. I was tearing up, guys. I swear to God, I was tearing up. When she saved the kid, sorry, and they open the door and the kid hug her, and the kid is really sweet, you know. And then Jing, she lowers herself, and you see the little girl crying, and it's just a sweet moment, dude. The most the best moment is literally when she saved other people, and you see all those people with the blue hair, which is a show of how they support Jinx, and they all tap her shoulder, and it's fucking emotional because okay it's emotional because in that way they make Jinx realize you may not think that you're a leader, but you're our leader. And they all put our hand on their shoulder, or all touch them, and showing that we've got you. And it's a really sweet moment because Jinx never had that, and if she had that, she would still be powder. It's a sweet moment. Now, episode 6 is a shit show. We got Catelyn training with the male mom, and you can see the male mom. She's training Cave and Waze. You see, that's the thing. Cave mom, right, had kids that didn't follow her, and she see Caitlyn as possibly her kid that could follow her. Cave, Mel mom, she doesn't give a fuck about Mel. She doesn't give a fuck about a lot of things, you know. She wants her rank to be, but she wants to leave a legacy, and the legacy could be Caitlyn, you know. So we have this. We have the invention of Vic Kingdom, and what is really, 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 really cool with Vic Kingdom is that there's a bunch of his people being cured. It's like a sanctuary where life provide. I think one of the most powerful moments that we saw in the slums was the tree of Echoes tree. Echoes. I don't know where Echoes is. I don't know what it is. But the echo trees, and knowing that the echo tree is dying is very different, right? But with Vic Kingdom, where there's a place where we can farm, we can survive. It's peaceful, and even then, you're like, drop your weapon at the gate. There's no weapon allowed. There's a place of peace and a slum, which is possibly the only place where you can live comfortably. You know, and it's a beautiful thing. It's a really beautiful thing because it is a sanctuary. I don't know if I would go with sanctuary or I would go with monastery, because they kind of have this own religion. I guess it's the question of choosing. We have Vic who agrees to help Vander, right? We have Mel mom who moves in, and it's really cool. There's a really cool moment where you see the teacher realize that Victor succeeded where he couldn't succeed, and you see Victor, and actually Victor's a really good character. He's a really good guy because the teacher's like, yo, I cannot believe that you managed it. How did you do? And of course, Victor doesn't know how he did it. He just was, I don't know if it was lucky or something. We know how it happened, but we don't know if it could happen with someone else, you know? And he tells that the teacher tells him, hey, if you cure vendors, you're not gonna have any power. Your powers aren't infinite, right? And Victor's like, yo, I have to help him. There's a really good guy behind it. And that's the beauty of Victor. Victor possibly never saw himself as a leader. Victor saw himself as a person that could help, that could heal. But he knows that Vander is the right choice. So now, Vander is a huge motive for these slums. V and Jinx believe in him, and Victor believes in him. And at the moment, at the very, very, very moment, those are the three most important part of the slums. V, Jinx, and Victor. We have the Mel move in. It's kind of cool because she moves in and she brings weapon and after weapon and after weapon. And like, oh my god, she's gonna stir up shit once again. right? Which is basically almost what all she's done. I'm sorry. I'm trying to film also the nature corn. If I can, if I can't, I can't. But I'll try. I'll die trying. So she brings in the weapon, but then the teacher convinced her, and it's kind of cool because the teacher, I don't know if I can trust him. I can understand a father being there for his daughter. I understand a father wanting to help his daughter and wanting to save his daughter. But I don't know if I can trust him. And then he tells Mel's mom, he's like, yo, let me go in, let me talk to Victor. Maybe I can solve this peacefully. And then he creates a serum which ensure that vendors become the beast. And it kind of sucks. It kind of sucks because Vander really had a chance, and just by doing that, she would have she destroyed every single hope. But the worst thing is not that. The worst thing is you can see her coming, and you can see her coming with an army next to an army. And then we have V meeting with Kate in secret, V convincing Caitlin that the Mel's mom, she's no good, and it's kind of cool because Mel mom is in a lot of shape and form almost a dictator. We got this. Secret Mel, mom attack Vic. We got. I even called her Mel at mom. She decided to attack Vic, right? And it's a beautiful moment because we see the war and we actually see people fighting, and you see V fighting, and you see Jinx fighting, and like, oh my god, this is going down. And then the sad part is the only one that could have done something, because remember they left their weapon in the front, was Vander. And then you see this kid sacrifice, and Vander loses control, and he actually loses control. And there's a really really sweet moment where the kid is jumping, and she unalive herself. She blows herself up, and she blows up Wildebeest. There's a really sweet moment at the end where she looks at Jinx, and she looks like this, which is basically the thing that they shared. It was like her little handshake. And to me, this means a lot of people are saying, "Oh, you didn't have to kill her. This was a hopeless sacrifice." But I think it means like, you know what to do. I think this is gonna be the nail that either makes Jinx a villain or makes Jinx an extremely good leader. We shall see. Anywho, I love you guys. Take it easy. Peace.